Archimax login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning. Dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
The Lodgecast is a little podcast where we watch weird movies, so you don't have to.
The Lodgecast, baby.
Lodgecast, gonna smoke this. Lodgecast, missing movie pass. Lodgecast.
We're gonna watch some crap.
Lodgecast.
And then the Lodge Master chats.
With Lucas and Bishki.
Episode 76, Knives Out. Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Lodgecast. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishki.
Hi.
Brother Lucas in the back.
Good evening.
We got the Lodge Mistress tonight.
Yeah, we do.
You are lucky. And we, for the first time ever on the cast, long-time listener, even longer-time lodger, he's here tonight for your listening pleasure, Brother D.
Knives to be here.
Knives to have you, sir, for Knives Out. It's a whodunit.
Contained thriller.
Somebody knows who done it here?
Agatha Christie,
Now-
the millennial generation.
Now, before we get into Knives Out, Brother D, you've been a long-time listener, correct?
Oh, yes.
So, what are you feeling like now that you're finally in the Edge? Are you pumped?
I'm super pumped. I can't believe this isn't called The Edge of Tomorrow, by the way. I've thought about that every
That's
time.
the full name for this place.
Oh, it is?
For
Okay.
this
I
car.
thought it was strictly The Edge after the Alec Baldwin, Anthony Hopkins.
I think we can blend them together.
Bear film.
I think we can blend them together at this point. But we're very happy to have you here. And for this movie, Chris Evans, you kind of remind me of Chris Evans a little bit. You got a bit of a Chris Evans vibe.
I'll take that. Absolutely.
Take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Now, Lucas, was there some sort of spoiler afoot that we're dealing with? Like, what's going on here?
Brother Zach tainted the jury pool.
Ooh, what are you doing, Zach? What are you doing, Zach?
Just sometimes can't help himself, and that's what we love him for.
So he saw it, and he gave you one of his patented Zach texts. And then how deep did he go?
Not too deep, but the joke was that...
Don't spoil it for us now.
Well, no, I'm not. But the joke is that he liked it, which means I'm probably not going to like it.
Okay.
Because everything he's liked recently, I have not liked.
We always go opposites.
So I feel like the fact that he liked it means I'm not going to.
Okay. So you're going in a little bit wary. Does anybody else have any preconceived notions about this particular film?
I'm just pumped to see Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
Always.
Who done it? Jamie Lee.
Yeah,
You know she did it. You know she's the villainess.
Any preliminary guesses as to who done
Jamie
it?
Lee did it. Jamie Lee.
Jamie
did
Lee,
it.
100.
Because she's got it nailed.
Okay. This is Rian Johnson. What do we know about Rian Johnson?
Love Rian Johnson.
Big
Yeah?
fan of Looper.
Yes, loved Brick.
Love Looper.
Love Looper.
The
Love
Lodge
Looper.
Mistress did a hard turn there. She almost went Brick, and then she turned on it.
That was fine.
Brick was a little too cute by half for me.
It was his first film, and so I forgive him a lot because I just tried to watch it recently. But
I haven't watched it recently, so maybe.
But Looper is on my top of the decade for sure.
Love Looper.
Yeah,
I remember
Nice.
Looper being pretty cool.
Does Joseph Gordon-Levitt make an appearance in this film?
possibly.
You know, I don't think he does, but that's kind of interesting.
Maybe he'll be
you think he would have been
in like
the
an
movie.
oil painting on the wall or something. Just briefly, Last Jedi thoughts. What do we think about his?
I was hoping it to be like the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy. Like it was really had high hopes for it. I thought it was good, but I think Disney held him back. So I'm not like giving up on Rian Johnson for
Right.
it. Like I think there was some things that were mandatory that he had to do for it, and he did his best. And I thought it was better than Force Awakens in my opinion.
Agreed.
2.5 bones.
I disagree with that, Bishki. I don't think Disney held him back at all. I think The Last Jedi is Rian Johnson's intact vision, and I hate it. I fucking hate it, and it's worthless. And the only
worthless.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the only thing I think redeeming about it is that Red Knight, battle scene that comes way too late because by the time it happens, you just don't care anymore.
What about when Luke milks that weird beast?
I mean, honestly, that movie feels like Monty Python made it. I think Rian Johnson told Kathy Kennedy, like, I'm going to make a Star Wars movie, like, as done by Monty Python. And they were like, what? And then he did it. And it's super divisive, but I thought it was just boring. I just really, like, I could barely stay awake in it.
Well, on that note, let's introduce a brand new segment on the Lodgecast. It's LT's bonus features.
Get ready for
Lodgecast bonus features. Presented by Brother Lucas.
So bonus features, just so we can set it up.
Bonus features.
Exactly. That's going to be a little tidbit of either trivia or factoid or just a little bit of lightly buried knowledge that you might not know about, connected to something or someone having to do with this film that we're about to see.
Yes,
So,
and as far as I know, everything I tell you is true. I don't.
Perfect.
I don't ever want to perpetuate, gossip and rumors. I only regurgitate what I've heard to be like true.
and this could be overheard in line at the ArcLight parking meter.
Correct.
Pay machine.
Correct. But you know what they say? Once CIA, always CIA, and that goes doubly for CAA.
Wow.
Meaning I have little birdies all around town.
You do.
That fly into my ear and chirp little songs for
But
me.
as long as you say that, as far as you know, everything that you say in these segments is true. I think that
Correct.
covers. I think
Correct.
That covers everything.
So for tonight's film, I happen to know on good reconnaissance and intel that Rian Johnson originally offered one of the roles, many roles of this movie. I think there's over a dozen. But one of them to the young actor, excuse me, Shia LaBeouf.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And Shia, read the script and met with Ryan and wanted to do it. And I think they had some conversations about it. And I'm not quite clear why it didn't pan out, but I would assume the studio just didn't sign off on him. And so they wound up going with Chris Evans for that specific role.
Oh,
but
there
he
you
was
go.
originally going to be in the Chris Evans role. So if you ever see Shia LaBeouf in a Rian Johnson movie someday, you'll know that their relationship blossomed or began with this movie.
The journey started here.
How beautiful.
Now, Brother Big D.
Yes. I also heard Shia was offered the role of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi.
Just do a quick replacement and see if anybody noticed.
They had disagreements on the facial hair.
That was it. Everything else was great, though.
Yeah. I love the fish nuns. I love all that, but
So what movies do you usually really go for? What really turns you on at the cinema?
oh man, that's hard to say. Well, since you say at the cinema, I'm usually into like big spectacle at the cinema.
Sure.
When I do go to see a movie in the theater, I usually like an Avatar or a Mission Impossible. I like a big
Get your
fun
money's
ride.
worth. Yeah. Get your money's worth.
Live, Die, Repeat. What's that one called again?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't wait till the second one of that comes out. A Top Gun 2. I can't wait for
Oh,
that.
you're on
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick.
Maverick.
40X or
Yes.
Screen X is what we're doing.
Yeah, we're moving around.
I like a good run time. I don't like to, I don't like to go over 2 hours unless it's Avatar and I've got plenty of edibles.
Right.
But like
Preach.
Yeah. I like spectacle when I go to see a movie, or like sound, like great sound. You know what I mean?
Ooh. All
'cause,
right.
it's hard for me to get out to a theater these days. I got 2 youngins at home, so it's very hard to get out.
Two
so when I do
younglings.
go out, and the last movie I saw in the theater was Frozen 2.
Of course.
Well, speaking of
How
Frozen
was it?
2,
I only saw
go
half
for
of it until I had to leave with my kids. So I'm
Perfect.
excited for tonight.
Frozen 2 has taken the IMAX and the Dolby Digital, the 2 best theaters at this movie complex. So we are going to Theater 13.
Lucky 13. We're back at
Man,
13.
I hate
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Out
All
of 16,
roads.
13 is the tightest. I read this morning that South Korea is suing Disney because Frozen 2 apparently has a monopoly on 88% of all screens in Korea.
Wow.
That's what it's going to be here eventually.
Antitrust, apparently.
Yeah.
When the studios buy up all the theaters.
Yeah, there's going to be Disney theaters coming soon.
It's going to be rough. But, Brother D, that's good to know. So now whenever we hit the big spectacle movies, not necessarily Marvel movies, because we're staying away from those because we got a couple
Yeah,
snowflakes.
staying away from like the ArcLight.
But, yeah. Right, which means we can always go back at any moment, but we'll definitely keep that in mind when we hit the big spectacles. We'll be like, I wonder what D's up to.
Oh, thank you.
But for tonight, this will probably be a spectacle. I think it's over 2 hours though, so
No, that's good. 2.5 is my limit.
Okay, 2.5. We'll hit MacGuffins. We'll get fortified, and we'll see if Jamie Lee actually done it.
Yeah.
Knives Out, y'all.
Oh, one request. Can you play Knives Out by Radiohead?
Oh, nice.
I think we can accommodate.
Thank you. I've been waiting for that for a long time.
Love and light, y'all.
Love and light.
Love and light.
Love and light.
I want you to know he's not coming back. Look into my eyes. I'm not coming back. So knives out, catch the mouse, squash his head, put him in the pot.
The knives are back in the sheaths, y'all. We back. We survived Screen 13 once again. We got to avoid
The
that
mean
fucking
13.
theater.
I was just saying on record as we were walking out, as we were shuffling out, if at Burbank we're not seeing it in IMAX, Dolby Atmos, or Prime, the Shitty Walk has not only every auditorium recliner seats, but I'm sure 9 out of 10 auditoriums brighter projector bulbs.
It's a
And
nice theater.
plus a big bar upstairs, a very big bar.
It's a nice theater, but
And it's only
And the
$60 to
concessions-
park there.
And the concessions, there's no lines because you just grab and go.
well, before we get into the particulars,
What's that shot?
From Rotten Tomatoes, acclaimed writer and director Rian Johnson, Brick Looper, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, pays tribute to mystery mastermind Agatha Christie in Knives Out, a fun modern-day murder mystery where everyone is a suspect when renowned crime novelist Harlan Thrombey, Christopher Plummer, is found dead at his estate just after his 85th birthday. The inquisitive and debonair detective Bonnet Blanc, Daniel Craig, is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devoted staff, Blanc sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. With an all-star cast including Chris Evans, Anna de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette, Don Johnson, Michael Shannon, Lakeith Stanfield, Katherine Langford, and Jaeden Martell, Knives Out is a witty, stylish whodunit guaranteed to keep audiences guessing until the very
are these
end.
synopses getting longer?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on?
It's the season.
But yeah, it's
Tis the
prestige.
season for prestige schnapps.
FYC.
So, okay, we tried to skip all the trailers. The Like a Boss trailer came on, and Lucas said before we got in the theater, he's like, if I see Like a Boss trailer one more time, I'm just going to spontaneously combust. Like a Boss came on. Lucas was not in the theater yet.
Came in
And
for the very end.
Right when
Very end. I got like
when
a
it ended.
splash. It's like the mermaid's tail going back underwater.
Right when it ended, he walked in like a king, like a sun god.
I put my fists up. I think people were a little unnerved.
They
'cause
were.
I forgot I had a drink in my hand.
I mean, we always come across moments where Lucas is like, I feel like the people around me might have been unnerved by my presence or by my behavior. So let's keep them on their toes.
But it was like a sold out crowd. It's like a Monday night after Thanksgiving. You think everyone would be at home soaking in a tub of gin. And that theater, with the exception of the first 3 rows, were sold out.
Yeah, it felt like a Tuesday. It felt like
It was
did.
a
It
Tuesday
felt like
night
a
crowd.
Tuesday.
It was absolutely a Tuesday night crowd.
Yeah, well, they marketed the hell out of this. AMC had party packs for sale of Knives
Yeah, they're
Out.
pillars. Each character was on a pillar like 15, 20 feet tall. So you got Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Daniel Craig, Don Johnson.
the names just
Now,
keep,
I mean,
keep coming.
it was staggering.
Of all those actors, though, that were on the pillar, and I love all of these actors.
Sure.
And I thought they were all great. But Christopher Plummer was the best fucking actor in that show tonight, I think.
Because he's so
And
close
he
to
was,
death.
I didn't even know he was in
Because
this
he's
fucking
got
thing.
one
And
foot
he
in a
just-
grave and
he
one
just
foot on
showed
a
how
banana peel.
great he fucking was.
Dude,
he was so good, and he was gonna die
looking
months
the Grim
later.
Reaper in the eye sockets.
Yeah. He was great. He was great. You could see a real joie de vivre in his eyes, and
He's
his
older than
performance.
85, FYI. Like I think they wrote him
He's
down,
dead.
but like, is he dead?
Yeah.
What?
No,
Didn't he die right after that movie?
no, he didn't.
No,
die.
he's,
Sure?
he's
Dude,
alive.
He
that would be
died-
Well,
amazing.
thank God,
That would be
'cause-
amazing.
He died in the movie. So we're off to the races right away with the Agatha Christie vibe. It feels like I'm watching one of my mom's British mysteries right off the bat, with the exception of a few fancy camera moves. It feels like one of these old mystery shows to me, anyway.
Tons of characters, tons of details, coming fast and furious. Either you're on board or you're.
Like just from the outset, like the pacing was off for me. Like
See,
it just wasn't.
There's
laid out.
something about when sweet dear Lucas, is having a bad time at a movie, it can envelop you if you're too close to it.
Yeah.
It's like a black hole just sucking you in. There's a siren
No,
beckoning you.
His aura was with me as well.
It was intense, right?
Yeah, mhm.
So Lucas,
I apologize. I don't mean to do that, by the way. I'm
No,
not trying to ruin everyone's night.
I
but
was kind of with
am-
you. It was more, yeah.
but
anyway.
Lucas gave. I was counting them. He gave 6 deep sighs, and that's like the death knell for a movie. If Lucas is deeply sighing, especially after a big would-be brava set piece. Ooh,
Yeah.
it's tough.
I'm sorry.
Numerous watch checks, but that's okay.
I did not mean to do that because honestly, before the movie started, there was a guy in front of me on his phone, and I was like, I'm gonna wait till the movie starts.
I was watching that,
and
dude.
if he's still on it when the movie starts, I'm gonna just tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Could you please take that outside?" Like I was gonna be really cool about it, but as soon as the movie started, he put it away, and I was like, "Good on you,
I
lad."
could sense a little James Woods live wire energy coming from you, looking at that guy's phone.
I was hoping he would start some shit. I was there.
Oh, I was gonna kick his seat if he didn't put it away. I was like, I got the upper hand. I have the high ground.
So, Lodge Mistress, what were you feeling going in? You were very quiet during this film. I had to check if you were asleep a few times.
The beginning, I mean, I like the opening shot because I like a little old mansion with some fog. And I did like the dogs running. I was like, ooh, okay, we got dogs running. But, it was just kind of like, I don't know, something about it was just kind of boring from the get-go. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was because there was no opening murder, the way that they did it. It was just kind of boring.
I kept comparing this to Clue, which I own and love, and I was going like,
You're right to love Clue.
Like what? Yeah, but what is it about Clue, which is not far off in terms of tone and wackiness and stunt casting, where every role is like a genius. And I was like, yeah, it's the setup, because with Clue, it's very chronological and everyone's got like some blackmail reason to be there. And you kind of sort of sympathize with each person because you're like, oh shit, like they're being forced to show up with a bunch of strangers and then Mr. Body dies, but I digress. With this movie,
you just want to talk about Clue for a bit.
Well,
we all
This movie
understand.
is jumping through time so fast and throwing like so much shit at you. At a certain point, you're like, wait a minute, like who am I supposed to be invested in? And you're not really sure. And then when you finally figure out, oh, it's the nurse, who's at the center of it, you're like, do I really care?
Yes.
Like I kind of like didn't care. It was kind of like, since she didn't kill him and he knows before he died she didn't kill him, like what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, the point where I was like, like, it was like when you use a plot point where it's like she vomits if she doesn't tell the
Monty
truth.
Python, right? Dude, what was I saying before the movie? He did The Last Jedi as if Monty Python directed it. That is some Monty Python
That is some Monty
101
Python
fucking shit.
But it's nice.
Come at me, bro.
Okay.
But that was a welcome comedic beat. That
But my theory adds up.
Whenever
Like,
she
that's some
told a
uncanny
lie,
shit.
she puked.
But I don't know. But that's not a good plot point, is it? I mean, it's just like.
Well, listen.
Not unless she's like using it divisively, like I made up this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It
Exactly.
pays off at the end with Chris Evans getting vomited on.
So that was
But
funny.
Everyone was yucking it up except me. So
Not me
it's
either.
like
I enjoyed that
Idiocracy's
part.
America.
So there's a lot of words flying around right now that aren't going to mean shit to anyone who hasn't seen this. So what happens is it's not really a who done it really.
That's the
That's
thing
the
is it's not active. Yeah.
Suicide.
It's marketed as a whodunit. The Christopher Plummer dies. You know that the nurse Marta is involved heavily because you understand very quickly that when you see a flashback, that is gospel. Like, there aren't untrustworthy flashbacks really in this. So you learn to watch the flashbacks to see what really happened. They're all being interrogated. They might say one thing, different family members might say one thing, but the flashbacks stay consistently the real deal. So you see kind of how he dies. You don't really know for sure if he killed himself by stabbing himself in the neck or slitting his own throat. You sense that there's something up with that, but you know that Marta's the central figure. So the rest of the family is just kind of ornamental. And we don't really go that deep with them. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, she barely registers in this. She looks cool,
and
but
her dad didn't even have beef with her. Like, she wasn't one of the ones that had done wrong.
She should have done it, man. She should have done it.
She was never even a suspect.
There's an alternate version of that where she did do it for sure.
Sure. This should have been like Clue, where everybody, do the gimmick.
Everyone did it, And that's
do the
an
gimmick
Agatha
that
Christie twist for sure.
Clue had, where they had different endings that they would splice on in an effort to get you to go back to the theater more times. And on the home video version that we all know and love, obviously they show all the endings that they showed in the theater.
Which is pretty great.
But it was a kind of cool tactic to, you never knew which ending you were going to get. And that shows that the movie's constructed in a way that it would always make sense, even as silly as it was.
Well, I found myself comparing this to Clue as well, and I never realized what made Clue so great until tonight when I was comparing it to, is that it's not, Clue was still active. Tonight, the very second scene, right, was he's dead.
Right.
And then nobody else dies.
Right.
It's over right there. Like, there's no more... And there's no more murders. There's no more things to figure out. Nobody's doing anything after that.
It's just talk.
It's just however entertaining you find it to watch Daniel Craig put it together.
Yeah.
And that is a type of show that people enjoy. Like Columbo, you always know who does it in Columbo, but the joy is to watch him slowly figure it out. And then at the end, one more thing, like that is an orgasmic release for many, many senior citizens.
How do we all feel about Daniel Craig's dialect?
It's a deep Kentucky. What is it? Kentucky?
KFC, CIA, or what do they call it?
Okay, it's one thing when you cast an Australian or a British person to play an American person, but when you cast them to play a Southern person,
that's a bridge too far.
It's a bridge too far.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was
and
thinking
he did a great. He tried
totally
really
just be
hard.
His British accent.
Well,
and
let's
they're fucking me up right now.
Or make him
because
French or something.
It's such a parody.
If you guys are done Southern mansplaining, let's ask the sole person from the actual South in this car what she thought of Daniel Craig's Southern accent.
Thank you so much. I actually thought his accent wasn't bad.
See, there you go.
I thought it was really believable. And I will say, I find that British people do Southern really well. Because it's sort of placed in the same place in your mouth, just as a sort of on a dialect note. But anyway, but the
Dropping
thing is that I could not see him as Southern. Like, the voice sounded good to me, but I almost needed to close my eyes because I wasn't believing it when I looked at him.
That's what I think.
It would have been funny if he was German,
off.
like Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, he seemed very European. Like, he physically just didn't seem Southern. But I thought the voice was really good.
Yeah, they technically analyze it and can do a technical, but they don't capture the soul of a Southern. You know what I mean? Like,
their soul ain't laid back enough.
Yeah. I think that is part of what it was. Like, his physicality was he thought he was being super laid back, but he
still too proper.
That giant cigar was hilarious. The first time he whipped it out, I was like, that thing's so fucking huge.
And they didn't do him a service by putting him in a suit. Like, if he was going to be Southern, I feel like they needed to put him in they needed to give him a hat and
suspenders and rolled up
bow tie and his own cane,
the white suit.
I'm a little shocked. It sounds like you guys are a little dreary on this one. So it continues, and you get to see more flashbacks. The night of the incident is filled in more. And I mean, were you guys on the ride at all? Were you guys laughing with the laughs?
I unfortunately was not on the wavelength as the audience, and the audience was really selling it too. They were loving it.
They were really loving it.
They came to have a good time. Yeah.
I mean, I agree that there wasn't tension because at least I wasn't in my own mind really trying to figure out the intricacies of what went down. But then Chris Evans shows up kind of out of the blue. I mean, he's mentioned, but he shows up, and then immediately in my mind, he's prime suspect. I'm like, oh, big flashy character showing up late. You got to have something to do with it. Lo and be fucking hold. Like, it just
and
wasn't.
He takes out all the other characters in the movie, and it's just
Right.
Chris Evans for the last half, kind of. Like.
It's the Marta show mainly,
Yeah.
and then Chris Evans mainly, but for all of what he ended up figuring into it, I really feel like they needed to have him and Marta have like a love connection or something.
Yeah.
Some sort of romance. Like if he really romanced her and went deep with her instead of just having an extremely long lunch of beans and beer.
Or maybe detective figures it out and then they run off together on the boat because they had planned the whole thing together because they've been fucking for, you know.
Yeah, I really wanted Marta, I wanted to turn. She was a little too simple for the...
I kind of wanted Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Craig to switch roles.
Interesting. Yeah, that would have been interesting. It really feels like the music is there, but the lyrics are a little off. You know, like it definitely has an affection for mysteries of old, and it really wants to have that madcap, you know, style. But when you leave the house too, you kind of just feel adrift in the movie, or at least I did. You know, I know they wanted to get out and like have some car chases and whatnot, but I don't think it added to the whole affair to have it not be a tight, you know, 2 days at the house weekend.
Yes, I had the most fun when everybody was in the same room playing off each other. They couldn't go anywhere. Like during the, you know, the reading of the will, like Michael Shannon and fucking Chris Evans together, and like people getting crazy with each other, like having fun. Like that was the most enjoyable part of it to me.
Agreed. Yeah, that was
when the
strange.
actors were just like together in the same room, ripping
A lot of
on each other.
overlapping dialogue.
Exactly. Yeah, and seemed like improv a lot. You know,
And the
maybe.
movie is kind of sold on it being an ensemble together, you know, and they should know to lean on that as much as possible.
Yeah.
We've seen shows with like Succession now where they have 10 huge main characters in the same frame
God, and
at
all their
once.
and all their dialogue and story
And
is just
everything is
A-list.
popping and rocking. You can do it. This movie wants to do it, but most of the family is just kind of one note, you know, caricatures, and they never ever fully figure into a suspect, an actual
I thought
suspect.
Don Johnson's work looked great. I mean, he really
he does look good,
had some
right?
amazing work done. I was like, this guy
and he was
really
great in that role, perfectly cast.
fantastic.
Everybody looked great.
I could only look at his eyes being lifted in defiance of God, but yeah, like everybody came to play. This is one of those movies where I'm like, you know, you had all the toys. Everybody came to play.
Yeah,
and
they did come to play.
And I just don't feel like the script fully,
Toni Collette,
fully supported
I
them.
love, and she had a lot more to do in other films, and I just wanted her to have like one great scene.
Yeah,
and it never really happened.
Yeah, as it is, it's like you get a few chuckles here and there, but it's just about Marta.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like with a whodunit, you want a mystery. You as the audience member want to solve a mystery. And if it wasn't going to be who killed the father, it needed to be something else. There needed to be a secondary mystery. There was no B plot, really. No forward B plot. And therefore, there was nothing for the audience member to solve. And then you weren't interested. Like, that's the reason why you stay with a big group of people.
I feel you're right. Like,
You
the
know?
way the movie should have gone is the second to the last scene.
Live rewrite.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
The second to the last scene, you should have the audience believing that every single one of the family members did it. Like, and you maybe you even show us them doing it.
Yeah.
But so as soon as Daniel Craig starts talking, he's like, you know, going, nope, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And you get down to like your top three.
Yes.
And then Toni Collette snaps and goes crazy, and they have to shoot her, and everyone thinks she did it.
But the rest
and
of the
it turns out
family
she didn't do it, you know. But she just
the
like
rest
lost
of the
her
family
mind.
is literally sequestered just outside of the final rumpus room.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're
Build
trying to
the
do
tension.
something
Yeah, like
new.
turn the
like,
screws.
Yeah,
They're-
there's no
they're-
tension.
Like
There's
there's a
no tension.
storm, you know, the power goes out, the fire burns bigger and
It's like,
brighter.
I think he wanted to do something really
Yes, I want more
innovative
violence.
with.
Knives out.
He wanted to do something really innovative with this, I think, which was to be like, okay, I'm going to show you who the killer is. And you're like, but no, please don't do that, because that's not why I'm coming to the theater. I'm coming to the theater to guess the whole time about who the murderer is, and you're taking that joy away from me, and that is a major joy. So don't take it away from me.
Yeah, it's a lot of dictating what happened to us without showing, or without us having to guess. Like, it's like just
you
telling
needed
us
something to solve.
And you didn't take, like, we needed more investment in other characters maybe have done it.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, there was
red
never
herrings. Yeah, there was never
like,
red herrings.
like the 13-year-old kid who's a right winger, you could have gone so much further.
He was so
wasted.
The mom who was supposedly oblivious.
Daniel Craig played it German. He could have used that against the kid, and then the kid could have like confessed something to him, and he was like, "I don't believe in what you believe.
Jaeden,
like, I am a good person."
Jaeden Labrador, whatever his name is.
Book of Henry. Yeah.
He's another gun in your holster. That he has one line.
Yeah.
Barely. Yeah, I don't even remember.
I really don't understand why you have, I'm just going to move over to cars here. You have like 9 Ferraris in the garage and you never really turn them on.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I really don't understand. And I know that even in the schnapps, they're like an ensemble all-star cast full of red herrings. It's like,
no, there's not.
You had the opportunity for red herrings.
You got the cast, you got the opportunities, but it's just not built that way. And it's very odd. It's very odd that a movie, like if you see a movie that's like really fetishizing giallo or something, it will have all the trademarks, but to make it really good, it's got to know the heart of what you're aping. And this seems to know all the surface of what it wants.
Right.
But like Daniel Craig says, at the middle of the donut, there's a hole. And the hole is...
Spoiler.
Yeah, is keeping us fucking interested enough and guessing enough.
It was boring.
I don't know. Bishki, what are some more of your thoughts on this matter?
Well,
you wanted violence? You wanted blood?
It's not really my genre. It's very talky. It's not very cinematic.
It's a play.
It's a play, and especially if you're not guessing whodunit, like, it's a pretty boring play, and I just wasn't like Lucas. Maybe it was his aura, but I was just not on board. Like, I was just kind of like,
he was leaning more towards you while he was sighing. So I don't know if that meant that it hit you a little hard.
I don't understand. I'm just gonna put my head on his shoulder, and he's gonna carry me through it.
Well, another
was
thing,
the audience like, who done it? I don't know.
They were loving it. They were just, my hat's off to that audience.
They just liked
Rian
people,
Johnson's friends.
They just like the people in the movie, and when actors are having fun, sometimes that's all an audience needs is to see that there's fun being had, and
sort
they
of
want to join
Ocean's
in.
11 factor.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
I must also say, I would be remiss not to note that at one point I looked to my left and all 3 of you motherfuckers were gone. You just weren't in the theater.
Or was it Marta who was gone?
I don't know who done it, but Lucas was gone for a solid 15 minutes, and you missed a lot of shit.
You didn't miss much.
You missed that actor. What was the actor? The old guy.
Emmett Walsh.
Super old, but
I got the tail end of that. I was shocked. I thought he died years ago.
Brother D dipped out, and then Brother Bishke dipped out, and you guys were all gone in the middle of the theater, a packed theater, 3 dereliction of duties.
Brother D dipped out at the right moment. He was like, "Tomorrow, I want you to be right by my side." And I was like, "Well, they already told me who fucking did it."
I drank like a yard of Allagash before going in.
And at least old D had a spring in his step when he was leaving. He at least made it look like he wanted to rush back. But anyway,
it's like a scene from Newsies. Swinging up.
But I love when I came
bar,
back in. Yeah, Lodge Master was like pointing out that the row was empty, and I was like, "It's Entourage, baby," because it was our first like A-list Entourage reservation.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I don't know about this Entourage.
Well, should we talk about some good moments?
Let's shine some love and light, because this is going to be nominated for Oscars. We're going to lose
screenplay.
Do you think it will be? Really?
I don't know.
Really?
We are going to lose our podcasting license if these bones go the way I feel they're going.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
I don't
this
think
and
this
the
is gonna be
Irishman,
nominated.
we're dead.
Nah.
So please shine some love and light on this piece.
Yeah, who has something good to say?
Oh, you.
No, I don't know. Well, okay, I will say this. I thought
I thought you had something.
Well, I will say it really did pick up at the end.
Yes.
You know, the end got a little bit more jazzy, razzmatazzy.
Yeah.
There was a little bit more of the whodunit.
A little bit.
I very much enjoyed when he was like in for a penny, in for a pound, and he grabbed that knife, and I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And he came for her, and then, you know, well, I won't totally spoil it for
May as
whomever.
well not. We don't need to.
But I enjoyed that. I thought the ending there really picked up for me.
But then if you apply, sorry, we'll go back to Love and Light after this. But if you apply Lucas's brilliant live rewrite where everybody's a suspect and Toni Collette runs across the room for some reason, wouldn't that be better? Like it's
I'm not denying it would be better.
It's tough once LT introduces a live rewrite to a movie. It's tough to not see it the other way sometimes.
Yeah.
And this would have been a symphony at the end if the whole family was
know.
popping off. If
It's
they
true.
weren't
Well,
just quarantined.
and that was the thing too. Like the very
out of
end scene,
reach.
it was just the Marta and Ransom and the detectives when
Yeah.
it should have been the whole family.
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah,
Not if
I could use some more unhinged Don Johnson with like his
Yeah.
underwear with like a double barrel shotgun. Like running
Everybody
around,
was
like-
ready. Everybody was ready to do whatever they needed to do.
I mean, I thought the direction, on the positive note,
Here we go. Back to Love and Light.
Love and Light to Rian Johnson's direction, I thought was good. The production design, I thought was pretty cool. I mean, it seemed like stuff was going on when it wasn't. Like it was like
the best that can be said for any director. It seemed like you got a lot of stuff going on, even when there wasn't.
Yeah. But I thought, I think he's come a long way in terms of his visual. I don't know about the editing, all the flashbacks and everything like that. If it just was a little more chronological, might have helped it. I don't know.
Lucas, Love and Light, shine something on this. Something.
Please.
The actress who played Marta was great.
She was great.
She was
She was great.
beautiful.
Thank
She'd be a
you.
star. She'd be a Bond girl.
talented, And I was like, who is this
Do we
person?
all agree that she's going to be like a mega star?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She was great.
For
She
at
was
least the
great.
next
I
3
wanna see
years.
more.
She's in the
her.
Bond movie next year. She's gonna
Yeah.
be
Sweet.
Is she really?
No,
Yeah.
she
Is she
With
James,
Daniel Craig?
Is she James Bond?
She had a
She's
lot
a
of
Bond
heavy
girl.
lifting, a lot of hard scenes, and she fucking nailed it. Like she was great.
Brother D, Love and Light. What do you got for
Yeah,
this?
like I said, I liked it when all the actors got together and just just had a rip roaring good time. I really enjoyed that. Like,
Yeah.
I think Don Johnson was perfectly cast. I thought Christopher Plummer was excellent. And I like to think that maybe he set the tone for everybody else because he was very in the moment and very just off the cuff. It felt like I don't know how much of that was the direction and the writing and how much of that was the actors having fun with each other. I thought Michael Shannon was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He was really
yeah.
he was in that Michael Shannon energy where he just let it rip.
And you
Agree.
instantly know who he is just
Yeah.
by the way he stands,
Yeah.
which is great.
So I really loved the actors' performances. I would say that was my favorite part of the film.
All right.
Nice.
Well, I'm very, very, very curious. Let's sharpen these bones. Who the fuck do we start with on this? Lodge Mistress, what do you got?
Well, here's the thing. The movie, as we've already discussed, had its problems, had its flaws. But the other main flaw that I just felt was bad news was that it was like, Marta, you are so good. And because you are so good and such a good person, you deserve money. I don't know, man. I just don't know about that. It was problematic. I mean, I'm like, it just, she wasn't that interesting. It's like, oh, she's good and that makes her really interesting. I think that's an old school bullshit. Why do women have to be good, or why does women have to be good to earn money and be interesting?
Well, and the fact
Chaste.
that she is
Well, her mom was illegal, and she didn't turn her mom in, so
That's
she's kind of
true.
bad.
That's true. She's got a little bad in
the
her.
fact that she is a good person at the outset and everybody says so, and then at the end, whoa, plot twist, she's a good person.
know.
That's very
It's
interesting.
just, and it's just boring. Again, another
How
boring
crazy would it
thing.
be if the movie we just saw ended exactly the way it did, except there was a shot where she looks at the camera and
That would be
winks
much
at it
better.
or
Yes,
something?
that's-
And,
much
better.
You're like,
Or she
wait a
goes and
second,
meets Chris Evans.
what the
Yeah.
fuck? And then the credits roll, and you're like, wait, did
Yeah.
you see her wink at the end? And it's
Yeah.
like, no, I didn't see her wink at the
It's
end.
like, why not put that in?
I know.
Yeah.
Probably because they would say, oh, that's too expected.
Yeah.
But then you take that away, and nothing's unexpected.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought, honest to God, no joke, to the very end of this movie, I thought, oh, the grandma did it. Like, we've all been fooled.
I was hoping it was her.
The grandma's going to be the mastermind. And it's like, nope, she was just a senile grandma.
She was
like, damn,
she was exactly as she seemed. But, sorry, we interrupted your monologue.
So, anyways, and another bone I have to pick is that I felt like the mansion should have been cooler. It should have been more like Clue. It was like it was so piecemeal the way they shot it, and you couldn't get a sense of the fun of the house.
Oh, wouldn't it be cool?
I wanted that.
Like in the event of his death, and they read the will, and they're like, "You have to survive the night in the house of booby traps," and he like sets all these booby traps.
Like
Already
Ready or Not.
better,
Ready or Not.
but it still would have been better with those. Anyways, the acting was really good. I'm just still gonna have to give it 2 bones.
2, 1, 2.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what you got. Whew. Well, I mean, that when the lodge mistress is bored, look out, because she watches some. I'll just go ahead and say it. You watch some boring shit at home. So,
but you didn't deliver on the promise of what you had sold me. It was not a whodunit,
right?
And that is a mortal sin.
The mustiest, dustiest shows you watch, at least they
are who they purport to be.
They come through on their promise in some way.
It was not a genre promise was not fulfilled here.
Hashtag genre promise. Brother Bishke, let us have it.
Right there in line with the lodge mistress. This
Brother Zach is going to have several heart attacks.
We were sold a whodunit, but I was not guessing. I was just kind of like, this is we get thrown weird detail after weird detail and another character, and I don't care. And the verdict's out on Rian Johnson. I mean, I really like Looper, but then I
swimming naked.
But then I saw Brick, and I was like, and maybe I would have liked it 10 years ago.
Listen, you'll always have Looper.
But the neo noir in high school, I wasn't on board, and this one I just wasn't on board. This is not my genre.
Okay.
2 bones.
2 bones, not his genre. Oh, Brother D.
Yeah, no, I was like hoping for a lot out of it. I think that a title like Knives Out and the fact that the previews were that I didn't see much in the previews. I thought there was going to be a lot more like active things happening. Yeah, Knives maybe, I don't know. I love all those actors. Yeah. And I think some of them were better than others, and I liked a lot of the performances, but overall the pacing was off. I don't think it's not my aesthetic visually either. I like wider shots, like that opening shot of the dogs running. I really liked. I was hoping for more of that. I like a sort of like a wider, even push in sort of shots. A lot of stuff was really shot really close up.
Oh yeah.
And they couldn't figure out with the house. Like, are we gonna at first they were shooting everything so close up in the house that they're trying to make it look claustrophobic. He's like, this is like an intentional choice. But then they would shoot. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go with 2.5 bones.
2.5 bones.
Because I think there was some craft in there. And I think some people will really enjoy it.
I mean, our audience was loving it.
Yeah, they loved it. They loved it.
They were lapping it up.
My parents would love it.
There's a lot of teens in there, too. I was surprised.
Yeah. But for me, on this Monday night, particularly in Burbank, it didn't live up to what I was hoping for. But I don't think it's a total loss by any means.
2.5 bones. Brother D's inaugural decision. All right, Brother Lucas. What do you got?
So, yeah, I know... Brother Zach aside, I knew we were in trouble when the studio
this was doomed.
When the studio logo came up. Do you all remember what it was?
Lionsgate.
No, it was Lionsgate.
Oh,
and that means every other studio in town passed on it. I'm serious. Like, I'm not joking. And I'm thinking, whoa, Lionsgate got Rian Johnson's follow-up to The Last Jedi? Like, that seems kind of like catching a home run or something, And so, yeah, when it started, I was like, oh, yeah, I can kind of see why. Like, I mean, they really did a great job marketing it in the title because I thought the knives would be out. And it only really comes out when Ransom, the Chris Evans character, shows up for the reading of the will. That's like the only moment, where everyone's in the same room, everyone's on, like everyone's attacking, and it's fun. But then, for the rest of the 2 hours, it's kind of like the maid and the detective, more or less.
I thought the insults could have been a little sharper in that scene.
Right? Was it rated R? I felt like it wasn't.
But it was still
like it should have been.
It was just
like
up your ass, eat shit.
Yeah, there should have been way more of that. Yeah. We needed a lot more of that.
But it could have. I'm saying it could have been sharper,
more clever.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
But the theater really, it's amazing to me because I see so many movies and you kind of come in tune with the audience, and when you're not in tune with them, it's so off-putting. Like,
it feels weird.
I feel like I'm undercover cop, or I feel like, you know, I'm on drugs, or that like
You might be both.
I'm in a nut house, you know, like I'm the only sober, sane one alive. So yeah, it's two bones. I got to go with Brother
Two,
Bishke and Lodge
okay.
Mistress. Yeah, it just
That's
felt
nice.
a little uninspired for
That's
me.
nice of you. All right. Well, like I said, I don't feel like the script fully supported all the bells and whistles that were available to this movie. I felt like when they were at the house, at least it felt properly claustrophobic, and like gears might be tightening somewhere that maybe I'm not aware of. But then as it goes on, you realize they're not really tightening in any unexpected ways. And yes, what you said was apt, Brother Bishke, that they spend a lot of time explaining what happened and rehashing what happened instead of furthering it and making more of a mystery out of it. And it did get boring after a while. I was with it enough, and I was aware that we were seeing caricatures in this family, and I did want to go deeper. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, listen, it is what it is. Let's just have fun. Everybody around me, except for Lucas, is having fun. Let's just do this. But that only goes so far.
No.
That only goes so far. And when they were doing the little car chase and running around, and I just didn't. My bones were dropping. I probably started at a 3.5 because I'm like, this is a handsome production. Everybody looks great. Oh, there's Jamie Lee Curtis. She's looking good. And then it just slowly dwindled when I realized I wasn't getting the nourishment from these characters that I wanted. You know, I had little spikes here and there with Christopher Plummer getting a little frisky, getting a little fun-loving up in the attic, getting his morphine on. That was fun. I went down to 2 for a while, and then it burbled back up at the end when people started getting louder, and the angles. We started getting some Dutch angles, and it started to get pretty interesting for a minute. So I gotta go up to 2.5. That's where I'm settling it.
It was a murder mystery with no sex and no murder.
Yes.
Suicide. It's a suicide.
Spoiler alert.
I think I saw Clue recently, and so I was kind of biased.
There is like a herd mentality around prestige season that disturbs me sometimes. Like,
it happens.
This is not, you guys, I'm here to tell you right now, this might get nominated for
screenplay
1 or 2, maybe.
No.
That's it.
Original
SAG ensemble.
It's going to clean up at the
SAG
Golden Globes.
ensemble. Yeah, I don't get nominated.
This is a
for SAG
People's
ensemble,
Choice Award champion in the making.
I wanted to see like Jamie Lee Curtis and Don Johnson like just have it out. Like I just wanted
Like
one.
fuck?
No. Like
yeah, I
like
see
fight.
that,
like
yeah.
she's threatening to divorce him before the reading of the will,
Sure.
and then she gets nothing, and she's like backpedaling. Like I was just joking about divorce or whatever. Like I don't know, just something.
There were plenty of deeper threads we could have followed, especially with the young Nazi boy.
Hire someone from Succession to rewrite this. You know what I mean? Like, get a bit of a family rewrite here.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's it. Just didn't have it.
It's
just
tough,
didn't
man.
have it.
Writing's tough.
It
More like
is.
Knives In.
Yeah.
Knives
More
away.
like where to knives, you know?
Where them knives at? Well, I hope we don't lose our podcasting license over this.
Yeah.
We're dancing dangerously close.
Sorry, Zach.
You hear it from me right now. This will win 0 awards.
All right.
No, I don't
The
think
Oscars,
it'll win.
the
I don't think it'll
Oscars,
win,
the Oscars,
but
yeah.
it'll be nominated
Yeah.
for some stuff, I think.
And it will go down in the annals of history as, oh yeah, that was great. That was a great one. Ooh, real taut, suspenseful. And maybe some people believe it. That is the beauty of movies, and that's the beauty of having these immediate reactions that we have after these movies. Because, you know, movies are amazing because they can be read so many different ways, and so many people can bring so much different baggage. Tonight, we brought Clue to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And them teens have not seen Clue.
No,
they have
know.
not. Clue hasn't been remade and rebooted yet for them, so
No
they
way.
have no ability to go back to 1986.
There is
desire.
a throwaway line where he's like, "You live in a clue board," which was funny.
Yeah. He lives in a clue board.
Yeah. Go watch Clue, y'all. That's the bottom line. Brother D, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother D.
For coming out, and we will get some big, loud spectacle for you next time you come on, hopefully. And we'll take you to a more comfortable theater that doesn't have the stains of several deaths on them.
The dreaded black spot of Auditorium 13.
Oof.
This experience of being on the podcast, 4 bones.
4 bones. 4
I'd
solid
give it more
bones.
if I could.
Wonderful.
I bequeath to you, my son, everything in my kingdom.
Love and light, everybody.
Love and light.
Love and light.
You come out at night. That's when the energy comes and the dark side's light and the vampires roam. You stretch your ass to wear in your suicide poem and a cross from a faith that died before Jesus came. You're building a mystery. You live in a church where you sleep with voodoo dolls and you won't give up the search for the ghosts in the halls. You wear sandals in the snow and a smile that won't wash away. Can you look out the window without your shadow getting in the way? You're so beautiful, with an edge and charming, and so careful when I'm in your arms. 'Cause you're working, building a mystery, holding on and holding it in. Oh yeah, you're working, building a mystery, and choosing so carefully. You're building a mystery.
Jazzy razzmatazzy.